Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have the awesome author Livy Lynn. You can check out links to her books, to her website, all of that stuff will be in the description below. But we actually filmed the first half of this video over on her channel, which again the link will be below. Please go check it out because we're talking about one of our all-time favorite musicals and books that we share, Les Mis. So to watch the rest of the video, just keep watching. That's so stupid. You can cut that out if you want. Okay, so we are on tip number 4 right now. So this tip for writing is never have a useless character. This is something that's really important in your writing because as writers we can get taken away with like, oh my gosh, I'm going to add this person and this person and this person and I need this person to be a plot device. But something that Les Mis does so well is they never have a useless character. It doesn't matter how minor, they use that person further on in the story. Give these characters, like if you have a police officer that needs to pop up in the first few pages, like
that's okay.
you can not have, like, I'm not saying that you can have useless characters because you can at times, but to
the
have
waiter, if you need to have a waiter, it's okay.
right, yeah, but you add such depth to your story when you can take a character and then not see him for a while and then he pops up and has a very important part in the plot and you're like, oh, I remember that guy. It just makes it so exciting.
It does.
So make these story arcs transcend across the whole book. Les Mis does that a lot, especially in the book. In the movie it does too, but you see the full scope of it in the book because it's so massive, you guys. It's like literally this thick. But they have so many characters that show up and that have played such a huge part and role, not just in the story and the plot, but also in like other characters' development. Jean Valjean, who's the main character and goes throughout this crazy storyline, all of these people play a huge part in who this one man becomes. So don't limit your characters. They don't have to be useless. They can have a voice and they can have a purpose.
Yeah, and as readers it makes it so much more exciting when someone shows up and
you're like,
realize
hey,
there's a purpose for them and they're connected. It's the best.
Tip number 5, and this kind of went a little bit with what Livy was saying earlier when we were talking about like having the big picture, but not every character needs to be saved or should be saved by the end of the story. As she also mentioned earlier, Javert ends up committing suicide. He can't live with the repercussions of what he's just learned, and he commits suicide. That character didn't have a happy ending at all, you guys.
No.
Like that was like one of the most tragic things of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to be saved or have like a completed redemptive storyline. I feel like we can all fall into this like everything has to have a fairy tale ending, everything has to be perfect and wrapped up in the end, but oftentimes that doesn't make the best story or the best writing.
It's not real.
It's not real life. Not everybody has a perfect resolution to their lives, and that's okay, and that's kind of normal, and that's kind of how this world is now since the fall, which is unfortunate, but it is truth, and that will bleed truth into your story. It will make it feel realistic and real because it matches real life.
Yeah, and the darkness makes the light so much brighter.
Yes.
And so, I don't know what I was going to say.
That was really good though. But yeah, you have to keep that.
I'll keep that part. So as Christians, it can be really, really tempting to want to save all of our characters because obviously you don't want like non-Christian characters. I mean, it's like,
That's like a faux pas in Christian writing, I feel like.
It's like, well, if my character is not saved, there's a problem. And so we kind of sometimes want to save everybody. And so, I mean, that's totally up to you and the purpose of your story. And if you want all your characters to be saved, that's really awesome. But I think it's just good to remember that it's great sometimes to show the dramatic contrast, to show how wonderful walking with God is and truly how tragic it is to be separated from Him.
Absolutely.
Tip number 6. Tip number 6. This is one of my favorite tips. You need, always, in every story, in every movie, this is my personal opinion, you need a cute little kid to make everything better. You just do. Like, for example,
she loves Gavroche.
I do. Yeah, just seeing his cute little face and then, you know, it
his
rips your heart out later.
His like spirit, and I feel like children have so much to give. One of my books, like a shameless plug, Bound was written about 2 children, and one of the things that I heard a lot about it was that they loved that it was kids. Kids have such a unique and innocent perspective on life, and it's so cool, and it adds such diversity and excitement to your story because it's through a very unique person's eyes. It's a very unique, creative, exciting view. So the fact that you should have a child character in your story is actually a really good tip. It adds a lot of depth, even though you wouldn't think it does.
Yeah, and especially with subject matter like this intense, I think it was so good to kind of give you that relief of like, okay, there's still good in the world, there's still kids,
It gave you a balance, and again, like a contrast.
Yeah,
it gave us a contrast.
Definitely. And even like the coloring with just like his face was so bright and everyone else was so depressed and you know, facing all these challenging situations, and I think just seeing that was just, it gave you hope in the midst of all this disgusting
and you
stuff.
saw it in the other characters. You saw them.
Yeah.
There was one point in the story where Gavrash's enthusiasm and spirit rallies everyone else who is so depressed and weighed down and physically, mentally, spiritually exhausted. They're this close to giving up. And Gavrash's enthusiasm, he starts singing this song, and they all join in one by one by one. And I think it's a beautiful picture of what children, or what that spirit of that unique spirit can do for us.
Yeah, and so I've said this before in other videos, but one of my favorite characters in the Coronation is Millie, because she's just so spunky and full of life. And I had some beta readers tell me to take her out of the story because she wasn't necessary. And I always say you can't edit children out of life. Like, children are our future, like we should be focused on them. And so I think adding children in your books is a wonderful thing to do. It's just, I totally recommend it.
All right, tip number 7. So this one is kind of going to seem somewhat drawn back after some of the very detailed tips we've given you, but it's so important, and I feel like sometimes we forget about it. And this is, make every word count. This is so important, you guys. Like, with our words, like, yes, we're supposed to be superfluous and like wordy and detailed and like give people all these beautiful pictures and everything, but every word has to have a point, and I think that was very beautifully shown through this movie. The musical, because it was mostly sung, like nearly all of it was sung, there is this rhythm and feel to the music, feel to the words that flow across or flow from these characters, but every word counted. There was an importance to every single word. Every single line had a reason. There was no filler. There was no like constant repeating. There wasn't like choruses where you're repeating and repeating like the same words or same like theme or what have you over and over again. It was very purposeful, and I feel like that made this movie, this story, cut so much deeper. Instead of using like a butter knife, they used a surgical blade, because every single word was just cut straight to the heart of the matter, and there was no messing around.
A lot of bleeding.
That was not a good analogy, but anyway, it was really, really good in that respect, because every word had a purpose. And even when they did repeat, like Livy said earlier, when they were talking about Jean Valjean said something, and then later on in the movie, Javert said it, was such completely different spirits because of like the acting and stuff involved. It was the same words, but it was used for that effect where it just like drove the point home even harder. So you can repeat yourself, but use it wisely.
Yeah, it was so masterful. And obviously we are not all at the level, okay, none of us are at the level to where we're going to write an epic
We're not Victor Hugo, okay?
As Les Mis. Like, we're just not going to do that. But I think it's so cool that we can learn and kind of just like examine it and take out these little tips and apply to our lives no matter where we're at with our writing journey. So I hope that this video has been an encouragement to you. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that you can see even the beauty in what could be seen as like a miserable or depressing story, like to look at it through God's lens and to look at the big picture in eternity. And so I hope that you do that with your story as well, that you give your readers hope and that you have lots of fun with it.
Thanks so much for watching. We had so much fun breaking down this epic, literally and figuratively, book and movie for you. I hope you'll go and watch it. You can check out the full book and movie. Links are going to be in the description below. I'll make sure I have those for you so you know which movie we're talking about. And again, just a quick disclaimer in case you missed it the first time we said it. We watched an edited version of this movie, so there are some somewhat unsavory things about it that we did not want to watch. So watch it with a parent, get some feedback about what you want to do in regards to that, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Otherwise, subscribe for more videos like this, like the video, comment, do all the things.
Lots of thumbs. We love
hearing
love
from
your
you guys.
thumbs.
We really do. I feel like nobody, like sometimes people don't comment and you're like, is there anybody out there in the wide world? But we love hearing from you and we will respond. So be sure to comment too.
Yeah, and I totally get the not wanting to comment on people's videos because I watch so many videos and I never comment on them.
So true.
And I know that I should because it's just like it just encourages the people making the videos. So
and it breeds a community too.
It does.
So.
And we love talking to you guys. So
Absolutely. So have a great day. God bless.